the nation's commercial capital. This is the news at 10, live from Channels Television. Reporting tonight, Amarachi Ubali.
Good evening and welcome. Tonight, the federal government to hand over PHCN assets to the new owners dismisses threats of disengaged workers. The Senate summons the Works Minister over 30 billion naira Sherpi fund. Nigeria Customs Service says no duty paid on the 2 armored cars purchased by the NCAA. And the US government apologizes to Americans over the botched rollout of Obamacare laws.
On business news tonight, Lagos State Governor Babatunde Fashola presents 489.69 billion naira budget proposal for 2014 fiscal year, a 10 billion naira reduction from 2013 budget.
And on sports news tonight, fresh crisis brews in Nigerian football. Club owners dissolve the league management company.
Good evening, I'm Linda Kibe, and from Abuja, fake INEC officer jailed in Calabar for defrauding job seekers, plus another baby factory discovered in Rivers State.
Despite the threat of a nationwide strike by electricity workers come November 1st, the federal government says it would go ahead with the physical handover of the company's assets to the new owners on that day. The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Power, Mr. Godno Zigali, announced this after a meeting with Vice President Namadi Sambo on the power privatization process. He added that the federal government had made significant progress in the payment of the disengaged workers, saying 40,093 out of the 47,913 identified disengaged PHCN workers had been fully paid their entitlements, which he puts at 294.4 billion naira. In the meantime, the president says the violence that has adversely affected parts of the country has posed a major stumbling block to the economic development of the country. President Goodluck Jonathan said this while receiving the 2013 Africa Peace Award from the United Religious Initiatives at the Presidential Villa. He noted that there can be no meaningful economic development where people are fighting, adding that differences cannot be resolved through the barrel of a gun. Presenting the award to the President, the Regional Director of URI, Ambassador Musi Helu, said the award is in recognition of President Jonathan's contributions to religious harmony in Nigeria and peacekeeping operations under the United Nations.
For you to develop economically, or for you to even have political stability, there must be internal democracy and internal stability. Even the ECOWAS, actually you mentioned, you are recognizing us for this award, which our country later, was based on the interventions Nigeria have been able to do in quite a number of ECOWAS countries within this period. And within this period, that happened to be here, we have problems in Niger Republic, we have problems in Cote d'Ivoire, of course, the Mali is very recent, we are still in Guinea-Bissau, having through challenges in Liberia. Sierra Leone almost also went on fire, but we at every point. But at the beginning of the Commission of the Economic Commission of West African States, said that the purpose is for economic purposes. It has nothing to do with internal affairs of the different states. Of course, most of the leaders then were military heads of state. Nobody will want a neighboring country to dictate how it governs its own states. But now we feel that we cannot watch a country going into crisis. And we're talking about economic development. There cannot be any economic development without peace. For you to develop economically, there must be.
President Goodluck Jonathan speaking there on the crisis in the country. And the Senate Committee on Sherpi has threatened to use every available legal instrument against the Minister of Works, Mr. Mike Onolememen, for failing to appear before it. The committee had invited the Minister of Works to appear before it to explain how the ministry spends the sum of about 30 billion naira Sherpa funds from 2012 to 2013. The chairman of the panel, Senator Abdul Ningi, at the meeting regretted that despite the invitation letter to the minister, which was duly acknowledged, he refused to appear before the committee.
A minister of this government cannot refuse to appear before any committee of the National Assembly, talk less of a Senate committee that is saddled with the responsibility of unfolding a program that is not clearly defined to Nigerians. Let me assure all of you that are here and Nigerians listening that these ministers or whoever they are, they will not frustrate this committee and will take every available legal instrument in dealing with them.
Two reactions concerning the national conference, the proposed national conference, that is. It is not only Governor Adams Oshiomhole of Edo State who has misgivings about it. Speaker of the Kwara State House of Assembly, Mr. Razak Atunwa, also believes that the timing for the conference is wrong. He observed that since the conference may not end before the next election in 2015, it therefore could not be justified.
As of now, it is ill-timed. The concept may be fine, but the timing, I believe, is completely wrong. I say that because we're in the very tail end of 2013. We know certainly by 2015, there will be, before 2015 May, there will be an election, a general election. Therefore, we're rapidly moving towards a electioneering period where political parties will be locking horns in various capacities at various levels. To have a national conference, to seek to have a dialogue about the country when you're moving towards a time where ideologies will be battling ideologies, pragmatism will be battling pragmatism, my party will be battling your party at the state level, at the federal level, is ill-conceived. Because what is to happen when we enter a conference of national dialogue at different political parties, with different ideas, different ethnicity, and we come out, and the next minute we are battling each other, attacking each other for jostling for position. So for me, coming at the tail end of 2013 is ill-timed.
Meanwhile, the Arawa Consultative Forum has urged the Presidential Committee on National Dialogue to use local government areas as a basis for representation at the conference. A group asked the committee to shun the calls for representation on the basis of equality of geopolitical zones, states or ethnic nationalities, while suggesting one delegate per local government area. In a communique signed by the Publicity Secretary of the Forum, Mr. Anthony Sani, at the end of its meeting in Kaduna, the ACF noted that any hype in ethnic nationalism and states will stir up crisis and further plunge the country into disunity. The ACF urged people of the northern region to participate actively in the proposed national dialogue in the interest of national solidarity and unity. We're staying with the lawmakers. The Senate Committee on National Aviation has revealed that the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria purchased 202 vehicles. A chairman of the committee, Senator Hope Uzodimma, who had a meeting with the managing director of the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria, Mr. George Riesi, said that the committee is investigating the purchases, which include 4 armored cars. He said that the FAN management confirmed to the committee that the vehicles were for operational use.
Yes, of course. You saw when the MD of FAN did say here that they bought 202 operational vehicles, including 4 bulletproof cars, 2 Lexus Jeep bulletproof, 2 Land Cruiser Jeeps bulletproof. And we've also directed for that the MD should go back, put all this in writing, and do all the calculations, come also back to the committee so that we can further our investigation. We've called for the budget, the 2013 Appropriation Act, so that we will now begin to look at, reconcile, to know the ones that are accommodated in the budget and the ones that are not accommodated in the budget. By Monday, we would have done the secretarial job and things will be clearer.
And as the House of Representatives probes in the controversial procurement of 2 cars by the Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority as it entered its second day, more details have emerged on the matter. In its presentation to the committee, the Nigeria Customs Service said no duty was paid on the vehicles as a duty waiver was obtained for the importation. Manasseh Jato, a Deputy Comptroller General of the service, said the 1-year waiver was from the Ministry of Finance for the 2012 Eco Games, which had Lagos State Government as beneficiary. Our correspondent, Lamri Lasisi, reports.
It's the second day of the investigative hearing, and the hearing room had more people in attendance. A chairman of the House Committee on Aviation set the tone for the meeting.
The House of Representatives will not fold its arms and allow a few individuals to continue to drag the image of its name or the name of this country in the mud due to perceived greed or incompetence of these few individuals.
The first to address the committee was the Nigeria Customs Service.
The duty fair was supposed to be 10,133,505 naira, 77 for that 74. But that duty was not paid. That duty was not paid because the same import had an import duty exemption certificate issued by the Federal Ministry of Finance. The beneficiary of this import duty certificate should have been Lagos State government through March for Charles Motors Limited for the 18th National Sports Festival, April 2012.
The president of Coast Motors led a team to the hearing. They spoke on the procedure followed on the purchase of the cars and all the issues raised by the committee.
All the requirement that constitutionally that is required to bring the vehicle into the country, we followed all those due process. We were interviewed by SSS, we were interviewed by National Security Advisors, and they showed us, they issued the end user certificate for this vehicle to be brought into this country, and we follow those due process. Every requirement by law was followed, was duly followed.
The way it works is that the waiver comes in or kicks in at almost the twilight of the event, so there is really no option than to mobilize what we have in stock, and then subsequently we use the waiver to bring in the vehicles.
The lawmakers also sought to address the cost of the vehicles.
We represent manufacturers. Now, the car in question, the car which is the subject matter, was armored by the manufacturer. And like I said, and this is really an invite, I was in touch with BMW, and you can come to verify this price. I've given you a price. Please verify with the manufacturer.
The company was asked to furnish the committee with documents to explain why the chassis number of one of the vehicles the lawmakers saw was different. The committee has, however, given the Minister of Aviation, who was absent, an ultimatum to appear before it unfailingly on Thursday. The committee says if she fails to appear, it will be taken that she doesn't want to attend the hearing. Lamri Lasisi, Channels Television News.
In part 2, after the break, we'll be joined by Linda Akigbe from our Abuja studios. Plus, Army parade suspected kidnappers in Benin City, Edo State. That's all in a moment. Just stay with us.